Hi, I'm Cherie Krim, candidate for Panama City Beach, City Council, Ward 4. I'm running because I love our city. I have the experience and dedication to make a difference here. I believe our government should listen to and work for its people. I will be focusing on our community, our environment, and I will always be an advocate for transparency. On April 21st, vote for me, Cherie. My name is Cherie Krim, candidate for Panama City Beach, City Council, Ward 4. I approve this advertisement.
Good evening. Happy Monday. I cannot believe we've already made it to October 25th. This year, I believe all of us agree, has been crazy, right? So busy, so many things going on. And, just trying to get what we need done is just amazingness. So I want to thank everybody for joining in. I know that this evening is going to be fun. This is episode 8. And looking over where we have been in the past, thank you so much for your questions. And I absolutely believe that community, environment, and transparency are the 3 keys that are going to help us here build back a better Bay County. Because transparency, the truth, it's very important. So thank you for your questions. And we're going to cover a couple things today that I got questions on. So thank you so much for those. And we're going to have a good evening. So what did you do this past weekend? I was out at the Human Trafficking Task Force tent that we set up. So I want to show you real fast. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up my video. Make sure I've got this right. It's always funny trying to make sure when I'm like, which layout are you watching right now versus which one are you not watching, right? And so I'm not sharing anything yet. So we are going to go ahead and I am going to share my screen. I'm going to share over here. It's giving me all kinds of things today. So which one? Is that the one I want? No. That's the one I want. Yes. This is where I was this weekend.
Hello, it's Cherie. I am out here today with the Circuit 14 Human Trafficking Task Force, and we are out here in Frank Brown Park for the amazing bike festival that is going on. So if any bikes start going, you'll know exactly why. So we are over here by the Indian area. We're right here in the corner. We got beer across the way, and we got koozies. So if you're over here this way and you want to stop by, we're here giving out information. And if there's any questions, we can't wait to talk to you. So come on out here, and we will look forward to seeing you.
That's what I did this past weekend. So Friday and Saturday, I was out at the bike rally at Frank Brown Park, and it was just amazing. The people I was able to talk to, especially around human trafficking. So
last year I went through a tornado.
And I was like, now my stream wants to keep running. I love it.
They sound like freight trains, don't they?
Woo, I got some comedy going on.
Texas, so and I had never been.
We're going to stop that. I didn't mean that to happen. Sorry. You got to love technical fun stuff that happens when you're out playing with your computer here and doing a show. But this weekend was amazing to be out and to talk to our community. See, Florida is number 3 in human trafficking in the United States. And here in Northwest Florida, we are number 1. And it's a fact that we really don't want to talk about. And so I wanted to give some education because honestly, the education is the key, going forward, making sure that we understand what's going on. So I'm going to pull up real fast the main website that you guys can go to look up information around human trafficking. And it is the Polaris website. So you guys will see here on the screen, recognizing sex trafficking. That's the one that I pulled up first. But if you go to the polarisproject.org, you can go in and you can make that go away. Uh-oh, I did something. I made it go backwards. All righty then. So the Polaris Project, recognizing sex trafficking. Anyone selling sex who is under 18 is legally a trafficking victim. Okay. So let's be clear right now. and this is where I want to say this out loud, and I'm going to bring myself on full screen for this right now. We have men in our community that solicit people under 18 for sex. We've had multiple stings on that. We know Dwight Hicks is one. He's a real estate person here in town. So we have to stop pretending that this isn't a big deal. Okay. Why do people want to try to have sex with minors? I don't know. I don't understand it. But anyone selling sex who is under 18 is legally a trafficking victim. There are a number of racial myths and stereotypes associated with sex trafficking. While available evidence shows that racial minorities are more likely to be victims of sex trafficking, there is no truth behind the stereotype that certain races of men are more likely to be trafficked, right? So there's myths out there that you can learn about, right? Only women and girls can be victims. That's not true. It's absolutely men as well. All commercial sex is human trafficking. Another myth, people in active trafficking situations always want help getting out. And that's not it. There's so many things that happen. You know, love and trafficking is a big one around here. You know, and when you're in a higher poverty area, what happens is the Romeo, the love, the trying to use that as exploitation happens. And so you think about it, right? It's the whole Romeo thing. They start talking to you. Let's just say you're underage too. We can do any side of that. Somebody starts talking to you. They start helping you pay your bills. They're being nice to you. And then all of a sudden you move in with them because they're helping you out. Well, all of a sudden you're moved to another state. You have no cell phone. And what are you to do? You were just trafficked. You thought the gentleman was helping you, but no, that's not what happened. Another misconception that we want to believe, and this is where we have to talk about the truth. A lot of people working in strip clubs are being trafficked. And it is to the point that they might be on drugs and they're working for their pimp, whatever it may be. But there are quite a few. And we have a misconception that people in these businesses are either all being trafficked or none of them are being trafficked. And it's in the middle. And so this is where it becomes such a hard thing. When you're in a town that has tons of strip clubs, you know, women are being trafficked in them. We have massage parlors too. But there's a lot of information out there that, you know, will be something that will help us going forward to learn from these things. So in my book, The Business Case for Kindness, I actually wrote a whole section about this because it really was frustrating. So let's just look at what happened in Florida around the massage parlors and the owner of the New England Patriots. Robert Kraft went into a massage parlor where he knew full well that these women were likely being held in sexual slavery, human trafficking, and being made to have sex for money. These women may not have wanted to been there. These women may not have been there because they wanted to be there. What type of man really does this? A man who feels superior and wanted to degrade women? Kraft was charged with soliciting prostitution because how is having sex with someone who's being trafficked prostitution, right? So in March of 2019, Florida allowed a plea deal for these rich men, including Kraft. And the Palm Beach County State Attorney's Office offered Kraft and 24 other men charged with soliciting prostitution the standard diversion program offered to first-time offenders. The men must concede that they would be found guilty, perform 100 hours of community service, and attend a class on prostitution dangers and how it perpetuates human trafficking. They also must be tested for sexually transmitted diseases and pay a court fine of $500,000 per count. These men knew exactly what they were doing, yet all they got was a slap on the wrist. Is this really who we are? So it's kind of interesting. So we want a family-friendly beach here in Panama City, right? Panama City Beach, they're whole family-friendly, but we got show and tell out there. We got a strip club that could be trafficking people on our beach right now. Massage parlors as well. Let's not forget about the guy who trafficked his own child out of Lake Town Wharf. Trafficking is here. Now, I will say, J.R. Talamantes, who is the chief of police now over in Panama City, I couldn't be happier to have such a great ally to help in this battle because he is well trained and he understands. But until us as a community are willing to put up the notices to go be able to tell people what to do if they see something. So Atlanta made it a city ordinance that any public restroom had to have, and I say Atlanta, it might have been, it was on the, I know it was in Atlanta. I was on Buford Highway, and they are required on every public restroom to have information about human trafficking as well as the human trafficking hotline number. Imagine if we did that here in Bay County. So just watch, some fun stuff is going to happen. So human trafficking, it's here, and we got to stop pretending it's not here because it is. All right, Neil Dunn. Thank you, Neil Dunn. Always, always, always. Thank you, Neil Dunn. I so always enjoy the videos, and Neil Dunn, you help so much. So we're going to start with, let's see, it is the watch video. I want to say it's the watch video. Yes. So let's see what Neil Dunn wants to tell us. It says Americans are paying the price of the Biden administration's failing economic and transportation policies.
The Democrats' far-left policies, coupled with President Biden's weak leadership, have led to a massive breakdown in our global transportation and supply networks. Families are paying more for gas, groceries, clothes, but still, the shelves are empty at the stores. Regular working Americans are paying the price and feeling the pain of Biden's failing government policies. It's crucial that President Biden stops following his radical left-wing base and prioritizes the needs of hardworking American families. I'm Neil Dunn, your doctor on the Hill.
So, thinking of that, watching what just happened with this Neil Dunn video, it's really interesting when you think about, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my face on the screen too. When you think about how and what he says, right? And so he really does blame it, but no answers, right? So people right here on the side go and actually start talking about some good information. Goods made it into America. Goods made in America don't get stuck in the ports. And unfortunately, many of them are made with parts from other countries, right? So it's interesting that, here's another one. That's funny. My daughter lives in Scotland and they're having the same problems there. Is that Biden's fault too? The fact is that this is not caused by what he wants to let you know. And, I'm going to stop sharing real fast, and then I'm going to start sharing over here because it's interesting. Neil Dunn wants to say it's the Biden administration. Of course, he doesn't have an answer to how to fix it, but yet, it has happened. But I think it's so funny. So you have Neil Dunn going one way. And then right here, I love it. Thank you, Marco Rubio. If more of the stuff we buy was made in America instead of China, we wouldn't have a supply chain crisis. He literally said that, right? So right there, if you don't understand what's going on, we don't buy things that are made in the United States. Or if we do, we use piece parts from all over the place. And we started this a long time ago. And it is really interesting to think about how we got here and trying to always blame it on somebody. And I really love all the blame games, but if you aren't actually going to give an answer on what else you can do, what's the point in just blaming somebody? Oh, I know. It makes us feel better to blame somebody. I don't know why, but I guess it does sometimes. And well, it makes us feel like we're not to blame. Yes. Thank you, Neil Dunn, Marco Rubio. Supply chains, yes, we have some issues. All right. We've got issues and we should buy more things that are made in the United States. In fact, why don't you support your local small businesses and stop buying things from Amazon that are made in China? We can help ourselves. Go local. All local. Imagine what you could do for your community if you go all local. Imagine the businesses you could help create if you went local. We can do better. Awesomeness. What a great time so far tonight. And Mayor Mark Sheldon and George Gaynor. Wow, wow, and wow. You can't make these things up. So you guys should be seeing here on the screen. And it's sharing my whole screen. I'm not sharing the screen yet. Right there. Nope. I'm trying to play the wrong ones for you guys. This is a fun time getting things to work tonight for me. The little files are in, let's go, Chrome tab. So as you can see, we have a great picture here of Mayor Mark Sheldon with George Gaynor in the Capitol. So let's be clear. I was in the Capitol. I actually tried to go see them together. I was over there at the same time. But this picture right here, let's be clear. The man on the left is the mayor of Panama City Beach, who has a recall petition for him right now. The man on the right in the picture is George Gaynor, who is the richest senator in the entire state of Florida, except that we're in a really poor county. Interesting. Recalled, richest senator. Being recalled with petition, richest senator. So when you dig into the notes and then what people say on this, it really, when was the picture taken? Do any of the PCB or Bay County officials have ties to Senator Gaynor? Right? Just asking for transparency's sake, because we really want to know that. Benefits the wealthy residents, primarily those in city council. Did one of them have to do with the stolen shuttered venue money and the stolen money from the TDC? Now, we know Mark Sheldon. We know that he gets money from the TDC to run Sand Jam and Gulf Coast Jam, which is part of the whole point of the petition for his recall. People didn't understand who he was when he ran for city council. I've met so many people that I had no idea who he was. He said he was a promoter or a marketer. I don't know what words were used, but truth, you wouldn't have to make that up. Why wouldn't you just say, I run 2 of the largest concerts here on the beach? Because then people might have wondered why he was running for mayor and why he spent over $130,000 to run for mayor when he only makes $25,000 a year. Man being recalled with a recall petition with the richest senator in the state. That's where we live, everyone. Speaking of city council meeting. City council meeting, Panama City Beach. City council meeting is this Thursday. And there's all kinds of things they're going to talk about. They're going to have some employee presentations, a half-cent sales tax oversight committee report. But what really makes me happy is I want to see. They are the council appointments to the Public Arts Committee. Who are they putting on the committee? If you guys aren't aware, and I know I've covered this in the city council meeting, but they actually give board positions and committee positions to people who donate to their campaigns. And we kind of seem to think that's okay, but they never say it when they do it. So I can't wait to see this new list of appointments to see how many of them actually gave to campaigns, right? And speaking of the half-cent sales tax one, Doug Gilmore is on that. And did you know Doug Gilmore gave to all of the campaigns, except for one who didn't need money because he ran unopposed? Think about that. Half-cent sales tax, Doug Gilmore, he put money for everybody's campaign, except for one who didn't need it. That's the town we live in. And we have to pay attention to what they do, not what they say. They will say anything to get your vote. But what they do is what really, really matters. And that's the hard part that we've got to watch. And that's the point of myself and other people watching and seeing what's going on within these councils and paying attention. So I don't know what's going to happen. I can't wait to see. I know for sure they have yet to ask me as a amazing candidate who ran for city council on the beach, Have they offered me one position or committee position? Oh, why would they? I don't care. I didn't just run for city council. And in fact, they know the arts is one of my things. But do you think if anybody was going to offer it to me, they haven't called me? So sad. Goodness gracious. All right. I was just in Tallahassee, like I mentioned, with Mark, and I sat in committee hearings. It was an amazing time. And what I want to talk about is redistricting real fast. And redistricting is something that happens every 10 years with the census data. And there's a whole presentation that we received on redistricting subcommittee, and it goes through the guidelines on how you handle redistricting. And I believe that this is really important, how it works. One thing is that they want to keep counties whole. And if you're not aware right now, with our state rep, Jay Trumbull, Bay County is actually split into two. Brad Drake has part of Bay County, and then Jay Trumbull has part of Bay County. And the reason that is because in 2010, the ideal population for the state was to have 156,678. Well, Bay County at that time had 168,852. So we were actually over the right number. So they had to split up our county. Interesting enough. Now, the number that they need now is 179,485, and we have 175,216. So our county, Bay County, should remain whole in this new redistricting. And then we have to add 4,269 more people to our county for this seat. Now, that would be the right way to do things, based on their rules that say right there, keeping counties whole. I can keep digging into it. Keeping counties whole, keeping districts wholly within a county, making sure that you're keeping Florida municipalities whole if you can, because what's the point in splitting apart a city into two different state reps? It doesn't make any sense. We want to make sure of that. There's also rules around incorporated, unincorporated, municipal lines. I'm just using waterways as divide lines. So many things are in here. But the key is, and I'm going to put this up on the screen, these are the numbers. Before Bay County, the ideal was 156, and we had 168. So we had to split some up. But now the ideal is 179, and we have 175. So our county should remain whole. And that's going to be an interesting thing with this redistricting. So that is for our state. I know that gerrymandering has occurred here in the state of Florida. We know this. And I know that the oversight committees and everybody is going to be working on trying to make sure that we are keeping and doing the best we possibly can to do this the right way. And I will tell you, there's actually a way that you can go out and play with it and make your own maps up, which is kind of cool. And people already have it out there. But keeping county whole, Bay County, we have enough people now with this that we remain whole. But Bay County went up. Bay County only went up right around 7,000 people. So we had a small increase from 2010 to 2020, but we also had Hurricane Michael in there. So that's got to take up some time. Other items that were discussed, and it really was a great presentation from the Veterans Affair. So it's Florida Veteran Mental Health and Suicide Prevention. What could be of something better that we need to talk to? Right now, Florida is number 3 in this, soon to be number 2, a number of vets in our state, which is amazing. Right now we have 1.5 million vets in Florida. So really important things that were talked about. Now there is going to be a lot of training coming out, watch standard training, as well as the Florida Governor's Challenge to Prevent Suicide. So much is going on, and it's going to be launching at the end of the month. So I'm just going to pull up here and pull this up. Governor's Challenge, But the watch standard training, right? Active duty. There's lots of things out there that we want to help people with, because just because somebody wants to commit suicide doesn't mean that you and I can't help or might not know what to do. And that's why there's a plan here to get stuff done. And I'll tell you, working all of this out, getting to where we need to be, and taking care of this, it's not getting better. And we know with COVID, it didn't get better. We know that numbers are not, they did not get better. And I'm going to go pull up the data they had through 2019. But I will tell you, from 2018 to 2019, female suicides increased by 30%. Male suicides did go down, but women increased. Now, national veteran suicide rates were on par here in the state of Florida. We do have some other resources here that other states don't, but it's really important that we do know what's going on and what we can do to help, suicide prevention wise. I'll tell you, risk factors for death by suicide among veterans, there's no single cause, but a couple of things that really stick out are their perceived burdensomeness. The idea that they are a burden on the people around them because they're the only ones who went through what happened. So they feel like they're a burden. Thwarted belongingness, the feeling that one is not a valued member of the community. Acquired capability, the ability to carry out the act of suicide. Of course, hopelessness, and then any prior attempts. Substance abuse doesn't help. Significant life stressors. Now, there's lots of things coming out, and once I get the links for the training, I will make sure that we get them covered, because I think it's important. We have Veterans Day coming, and it's important that we're taking care of our veterans, because as a daughter of a veteran, my father served in the Vietnam War, I 100% understand what our military does for us. And a lot of us don't understand. If you have not been part of a military family, it's hard to understand. But no, there's a reason for our military, but what we do to them while they're in there versus how we treat them when they come out, that's where we have significant issues. We can be better. And if we can treat you, honestly, you have better medical care when you're in the military than you do when you get out. And that's a problem. We have VAs out there that just are struggling. And I think we all know this, but it's being worked on. And I know that suicide and prevention and being able to be that person to listen is super important. So lots of good stuff happening. So, amazing redistricting, VA suicides. So lastly, this is a fun one that I got a question on, and I so enjoy pulling up the finance information. So I was asked again to go through and go through finance information to figure out what is going on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to share the screen. And I already pulled up the candidate listing for the 2022 general election. As you guys remember, we know that we have here in the state of Florida, we have the United States Senator who is up for re-election, which, by the way, I still do not see, and he has to fill out paperwork because he's got to run again. I don't see Marco Rubio here. He hasn't filled out the paperwork yet for United States Senator. Well, that's interesting. All right, United States Representative. We know over in District 1, there is going to be quite a race against Matt Gaetz. But here in District 2, Neil Dunn, we've got two NPAs that are running. I'm just going to click on them and see if there's any federal finance money or anything. That would be no on that one. So we'll go back. So we got nothing there. What about, nope. All right. So let's keep going. Then we have, as you scroll down for governor, look at this. So again, Ron DeSantis doesn't have his paperwork filled out for governor. So Marco Rubio doesn't have it for governor, and neither does, Marco Rubio doesn't have it for senator, and DeSantis hasn't put it in for governor yet. Well, this is interesting. All right, Attorney General, we only have one, Ashley Moody, Jimmy Patronis, of course. Why would anybody else want to be the chief financial officer? And then 2 people for state attorney, couple commissioner of agriculture, Ryan Morales. All right, so this is the race. It's really fun. Let's go down to state senator. So here we are District 2. George Gaynor is the only one who has filled out any information so far. And at this point, he only has $30,000 in his war chest. And to be honest, he hasn't been spending any money, right? So he's just got it sitting out there. Interesting. Next up, let's go down to, so that was George. Let's go down and let's find for our District 6. So District 6 was Jay Trumbull's, and let's go ahead and let's go to Brian Cloudis, and let's just look up all of his expenditures. So when you actually look at this, and I find it always interesting when you dig into this, we know, and we covered it here on this show, that Brian Cloudis had an event at Spring Hill Suites in the month of August. But if you actually look at all expenses that were paid out, there is not one that shows what money he spent for Roger Stone's hotel. There's nothing that shows, oh, hold on. There was something I thought I saw with that Rogers Hotel. Let's go see, because there was something on that. But if you look at this, there is no expenditure for Spring Hill Suites at all. But there are these 2 right here, if I can get it highlighted, these 2 right here for a large amount of money, $33.50 back to himself, and then $27.0385 back to himself. Why were those expenses not paid for by his campaign? That right there, that's not transparency. That is him doing something that is, you have to show where you spend your money. What in the world? All right, next up, then we have other. And so you have this other segment here that I need. That was expenditures. And then your other distributions. This was where I think this was the Roger Stone stuff. So if it wasn't an expenditure, but it was another distribution. So $2,400 for photography, $9,000 for Metro Design, $612 for Airbnb, $1,000 Gutshaw Misty Gutshaw. Event expenses to who? For what? American Airlines, and then Reef Charlie for photography. But where's anything? Well, maybe the Airbnb. I don't know. That was $824. There's a lot of interesting things here, and I don't know. What does other mean? That's the really funny other distributions. It's either an expense. Why? I gotta know. This other thing is really, I don't know what other means. Because honestly, other distributions, it's an expense no matter what, right? So he expended all that money, but yet, I don't know. I don't like the non-transparency of this at all, right? I mean, I understand. But photography, so they spent all this money for photography and marketing from out-of-state people, right? And then he paid Misty Gutshaw $1,000 for expenses. Is this $1,000? God, this is amazing. Wow. Other distributions. It's an expense. Wow. So at this point, he received over $20,000 in monetary to expend 13. That's where we're at. So I'm going to go back and we're going to do Griffiths. Now we know Brian, and I'm really wondering. I'm concerned with that. But if you go over here to the Griffiths, shite ton of money, right? So you're seeing here right there, $131,615, and he's only spent $2,000. Really? what's the point? I know the election's not until next year and you need the money in the war chest, but just wow. I can't tell you, the non-transparency right there. I wasn't expecting to see that in Brian Claus. I just wanted to see how much Spring Hill Suites cost to go and do what he did. I wanted to know. But there's no receipt. But yet he paid himself over what? $3,350 and that. So he paid himself $6,000. So is that how much it cost to run the Spring Hill Suites? Don't know. It's interesting digging into it though. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. And, I wanted to let everybody know, we've got there's so much going on this weekend with Halloween. I don't even know if I can talk through all of it, but there is a League of Women Voters event tomorrow night. So I'm really excited that that is happening. And if you get a chance, it's going to be a good time. We'll be over at Gulf Coast State, if you know what I'm talking about. It's going to be great, bridging the racial divide, because we need to have these hard discussions. So, but I've made it. It is already 36 minutes in of me sitting here talking about Bay County with all of y'all. And I am so excited to have been here this evening. BayCast number 8. So if you have any questions, send me an email. Follow me. This is about our county. This is about you and anything that you want to learn. I'm here to research it for us, because Bay County is where I want to be. Bay County, I truly believe in our community, our environment, and transparency. And we can be the best that we can here in Bay County. So I want to thank you guys for watching this evening, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and have a happy Halloween. Go dress up. Go have fun. There's trunk or treats everywhere. Go do good things. And remember, go do the kind thing, because kindness is what matters. Big bullies, people who yell and scream, people who name call, people who just want to blame other people for what they've done wrong. It's a hard thing. And you don't need to take that blame on. We're doing the right thing here for Bay County. Don't let anybody stop you from believing that you're not doing the right thing, because it does matter. And Bay County needs kindness. We have had way too much greed, hate, and fear. It's time we lead with kindness here in Bay County. And I know I'm going to be the one to do it. So don't forget, November 13th is National Kindness Day. And so there's going to be some fun stuff happening. So I hope you guys come out. I believe the press will be there, and it'll be a fun time. So have a happy Monday and keep watching. Who knows what's going to happen with these FBI investigations? We just got to sit there and keep waiting. So happy Monday, everyone. Send me an email if you got questions, and I look forward to next time. Go do the kind thing. We can be better here in Bay County.